here and then we can go inside. How's that? So, the name of the new series is We Live in Eden. And this is, we live in Eden 1, 2, 3, and 4, and there's a 5th one in the house. And this is all very new work. And then on the other side of the house, I just wanted to refer you there. The first 2 pieces on the left are from 1998. Huh. And the white on white is also. I worked in just black and white with sometimes gold for a couple of years. I didn't let myself work in color. And the middle piece has a slit in it across the center, and so does the end piece. So I just wanted to point that out because it's hard to see from so far. I just wanted to talk for a second about the idea of we live in Eden, which is that, I mean, I would love to know what you guys thought when you saw the title. And for me, it was a phrase that kept running through my head the last number of months. Like, every time I would see something like so beautiful, like the turtles on the canal, or the river, or the trees in the sky, or the solar eclipse, all these things, I keep thinking we live in Eden. In that way of like, oh my God, we are in Eden. Our earth is so incredibly richly beautiful. And then I would think, yeah, and what man has wrought, and what man continues to do to each other. And so it's sort of like all of that mixed in these pieces. I wonder if you have any thoughts on that, or what you thought when you heard that title of the pieces, We Live in Eden. If you did have any thoughts on it.
I think for me, I understood what you meant, and in terms of just this world being so amazing, and then I also brought it locally, that we live in Eden, because we truly live in Eden here in this area.
Yeah.
And then it made me feel a little guilty, kind of, or sad that it's not so pervasive. But I really, at first I kind of thought, well, what do you mean? There's so much wrong in the world. And then I realized, no, the world is amazing, and where we live is amazing. I sometimes do these days just feel so fortunate, but also feel a little guilty, or survivor's guilt kind of thing.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, I don't know if you saw the Washington Post today, but the Washington Post, the front section is basically this artist who is did some drawings of parenting in Gaza. What it's like, and just the darkness, and I mean, this is what we have, and it so it does kind of give you an appreciation, and it doesn't mean we have to not appreciate it. I mean,
no, if anything, more.
Yeah, if anything more. Yeah. It's really beautiful stuff.
Yeah, it's really beautiful.
Yeah, I was just wondering if there was a dominant emotion that was sort of in you as you were painting. Is it hope? Is it concern? Is it awe? Any of those?
I think it's all of those, honestly, I do. And I was trying the idea of the split paintings, and if you want to come inside, or
Come close. Can you come closer to the painting?
You can come under here. You can come under here if you want. The idea of the split was and I'm not usually so literal, but kind of like it's closing off, you know, that feeling. The ones that are particularly the vertical slits, for me was sort of like there it is, and this is the diminishment of it. So yeah,
Are they numbered in the way that you did?
they're numbered in the way yes, they're numbered in order of when I did them.
Okay, so you didn't set them, you didn't work
Right.
on one.
So the
then-
first
yeah.
one was the red one. That was the first
Okay.
one. And I really feel like that one in particular shows the. I don't like to say it because people probably think it's pretty, and I think it kind of
It
is.
can go
But
both
it
ways.
also has that, you know, that intensity that of and that loss, and that you know. Maybe I got a lot of that out in the first one, so the others got to be a little bit less intense in that way. But yeah, that's the thinking.
They kind of remind me of when, you know, when you say things, well, nothing's black or white. And in your pictures, it's like, well, nothing's, I mean, it brings out the color, but there's still, I like the idea that this kind of brings everything to, both sides in. I really like the contrast.
Well, I'm glad you brought up the black and white because I wanted to talk about that work too for a sec.
And that really is.
And that really is black and white. I'm sorry to take you out of the honor. So this work.
Oh, yeah.
So this work is, I've told some of you already, a combination of older work. So these first two pieces are from 1998 when I first started painting. And they're actually, the black and white work, these two and the last two are from kind of an idea I had when I was 9 that took till I got to be like 40 to be brave enough to do that work. And this center one I started in 2011 and finished it very recently. And I wanted to, like the other day, and that last one also. I just wanted to talk for a second about this one. I'm like competing.
We live in Eden.
We live in goddamn birds. so anyway, this one has a slit in it, as does the last one, and like I said, I started this in like 2011, and it was a vertical piece, and I never was happy with it, so I've never shown it, and then I decided, well, let me see if I can use it for this show, and I brought it in my studio, and I put it down, and then I came back in, and it was horizontal, because that's how I put it on the floor, and it was beautiful. I was like, well, that's the way this painting, that's the way this should be. That was the problem, but it was flipped. It had the black on the bottom, and then I loved it like that, and I added the gold in the back, and then Marion came over, the incredible Marion, my next door neighbor, my very good friend, came over, and I brought it upstairs to show her, and when I put it down with the black on top by chance, and she and I looked at it and were like, I like that. I like that also. So this painting's been like in 3 different configurations, kind of, and the reason I'm really mentioning it is because I teach, right? Everyone knows that.
Yes.
And I always tell my students to pay attention, and you know, always be open, because things happen. And you know, if I was like, this is a vertical piece, and I saw it down there and I picked it up, that it would still be vertical. But I came in and I was like, oh, wait a minute. So, you know, it's sort of that's what I wanted to express, that you have to stay open and paying attention all the time, because little things that can happen while you're working can change the whole concept of what you're doing or the painting or whatever. And if you have like an idea of where you're going, that's fine. But if you don't allow for that, then you, I think, miss a lot of opportunity. And that's really all I had to say. Yeah.
So when you said you had an idea when you were 8 about this,
Yeah.
so what do you mean?
When
What
I was
this
a little
idea?
girl, and some of you have heard this story, I used to color in the little, you know, loose leaf pages with the circles on the, I used to put one page on top of the other and color in those circles really dark. And and one day I put one dot in like near the left side of the piece, and I looked and I was like, this is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. And I took it home and I hid it, because I thought no one would understand that this, you know, is like, this is just for me. And when I started painting, because before that I'd been doing drawing and sculpture, I kept thinking about that dot, and the black and white is what came from it. So, yeah, thanks for asking.
Yeah, it's good.
Any other questions about the process or anything? Yeah.
I was wondering, I noticed you always paint the sides of each piece.
Yeah.
Is that kind of unanimous across your work? Always paint like the sides and the bottom and top?
Yeah, I always do paint the edges, and it's sort of like fun for me, and also kind of sometimes a real pain, because it's sometimes so hard to get the color right. Like you could see, I think more on these, like some of them, like, I think, can I pick this? Like this guy, like, that's that edge. It's a combination, you know, and so they're kind of like surprises, which I think is fun. Sometimes I can so much more fun. Yeah, they're fun to do the edges. That's the last thing. Like I said to you one day, right? Well, I painted the edge, so
That's it.
it's not really true, because I was repainting these things from years ago. So. Anyway, any other questions about the? Yeah.
You know, I always ask this kind of question. So did you reinforce the back where the slit is, or you just slit it?
I just slit it usually. I did a lot of slit paintings.
So you don't
For-
tape it on the back and...
I just slit it, and then it is like a living, breathing situation where they sometimes continue to like expand a little, and stuff like that. And so I probably should, but I don't.
It's
Yeah.
a really good idea. I'm start...
You're gonna start slashing your paintings.
We'll help
look
them.
up Fontana, the very famous slasher of painters from a long time ago. But yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
Nice.
Slash the pieces.
Is that why you do it? Because it's fun? Or is it, no, okay.
I don't think so. It just kind of is. But no, it's to make the piece the piece. It's to let the piece become who it is, right? Any other questions or anything? Thank you all so much for coming in this weather, and I know it's freezing. So I hope you'll come inside if you haven't. Thank you. Thank you for coming.